Welcome to my views and news. Another video for you. Firstly, Eritrean military presence in Tigray. We know that both Ethiopian and Eritrean militaries launched joint offensives on Tigray from the north, which led to problems for Tigray forces. Otherwise, Tigray forces were close to Voldia. But due to this massive offensive from the north, led by EDF and ENDF, EDF had to retreat from close to Voldia, and then they lost southern Tigray too. Where is Eritrean military now? Is it withdrawing? Is it still in Tigray? Professor Kindea of Tigray External Affairs Bureau just a few minutes ago spoke about Eritrean military activities in Tigray, near and in Adwa and Adigrat. We have details for you. Secondly, Oromia region of Ethiopia. Two news stories from Oromia. Firstly, 3 judges have been arrested by Oromia police. Oromia police arrested 3 judges in Adama, and Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia says it is an attack on independence of judiciary. Secondly, Oromo Liberation Army captured a town in West Valaga a few days ago, Mendi town, and now reportedly banks have been robbed, government offices have been ransacked, government officials have been arrested. OLA denies. And last words, Member of Parliament from the Amhara region of Ethiopia today spoke about the peace agreement signed between TPLF and Ethiopian federal government. He rejected the agreement. You can say he talked about Raya and Volkait. Firstly, Eritrean military operations in Tigray. I have been saying the main strategic decision which struck a decisive blow to Tigray forces in the third round of this Tigray-Ethiopia war was start of an offensive from the north. Tigray forces were in Wollo after they launched an offensive on Wollo the 24th of August. And they captured Kobo, Robit, Gobi. They were close to Voldia. Then came the offensive from the north by EDF and ENDF. And EDF had to retreat from Wollo towards southern Tigray, and then from southern Tigray, EDF lost areas up to Macho and Koram, Macho and Mihoni. And from the north as well, EDF and ENDF entered Tigray, and they captured Shiraro, Shere, then towns along B30 highway. Where is EDF now? Eritrean military, because peace agreement was signed 48 hours ago. Is Eritrean military withdrawing from Tigray? Which it should. It should withdraw, because the parties agreed on freezing of all fronts. Professor Kindea of Tigray External Affairs Bureau just a few minutes ago spoke about Eritrean military operations in Tigray. He is claiming that Eritrean military is conducting house-to-house searches in Adwa city. Lootings are being done. Vehicles are being looted. Whatever can be looted by Eritrean military is being looted by it in Adwa. All this is happening in Adwa. Secondly, he talked about Adigrat, that EDF is trying to move towards Adigrat. It means Eritrean military could be in control of Zalambasa perhaps. That is why they are moving towards Adigrat. Movement from Adwa to Adigrat was checked by Tigray fighters along the road to the east of Adwa. So this movement towards Adigrat could be from Zalambasa. So Kindea is saying Tigray government is saying, TPLF is saying, that Eritrean military is continuing its operations, its activities in Tigray. There is no mention of ENDF in the accusations leveled by Professor Kindea. Question is, where is ENDF, Ethiopian Army? Now, when ceasefire agreement has been signed, and in the agreement it is mentioned that ENDF will be deployed to all Tigray's borders, Ethiopian borders, Tigray's highways, airports, all will come under the control of Ethiopian National Defense Force. Where is ENDF now? Shouldn't ENDF protect Ethiopian borders now? Is ENDF on board now when EDF is trying to move towards Adigrat? If Kindea's accusations are false, ENDF should clarify. Otherwise, now it is ENDF's responsibility to secure Ethiopian border, Tigray border as well. And I have not seen any statement from Eritrean government so far after the ceasefire agreement was signed 48 hours ago. No welcome, no response from the government so far. Secondly, two new stories from the Oromia region of Ethiopia. Firstly, 3 judges have been arrested by Oromia police. Dasalin Lami, Muhammad Jima, Abdisa Wakjira. The 3 were arrested today on Friday in Adama city by Oromia police. A circuit court issued their warrants. They were arrested. Later, the circuit court withdrew the arrest warrant. But the judges are still in police custody. Human Rights Commission of Ethiopia, led by Daniel Bakele, today spoke condemning the arrest of the judges. Commission says it is an attack on independence of judiciary. Judges must be released immediately. What I have seen since I started covering Ethiopia is that in Ethiopia, security institutions are more powerful than courts. And I have seen in several cases that police did not abide by rulings and verdicts of courts. Court grants bails, police does not comply. It happens. In the case of Amhara activists, Amhara journalists in prison, we have seen that. Several were granted bail, but police did not comply. Police did not present them to the court as well for days. So in Oromia as well, police is powerful, judiciary is weak, and believe me, there is no democracy without a strong judiciary. Judiciary is the only hope for oppressed people who want to struggle against governments, against authoritarian governments. Judiciary gives people relief. Judiciary helps activists, journalists by upholding constitution, by upholding rule of law. But in Ethiopia, I have seen the judiciary is under pressure. Government control judiciary in Ethiopia. Judges must be released. Secondly, Oromo Liberation Army, which took control of a town in West Valaga, is being accused of destruction and atrocities and kidnappings in the town. And the town is Mendi. Mendi in West Valaga was taken by OLA this week. And now it is being reported that 3 banks were robbed in Mendi. Government offices were ransacked. Government officials were kidnapped. Unknown number of local government officials has been kidnapped in Mendi town of West Valaga. OLA denies. OLA says that banks were looted by fleeing government officials. That government offices were being used as military camps. That is why they were damaged in fighting. So OLA is denying. By the way, when OLA entered Gambela a few months ago, OLA and GLF attacked Gambela city, if you remember. Back then, some banks were looted in Gambela. OLA denied. So once again, denial from OLA, but some sources, pro-government sources, other sources say that banks have been looted after OLA entered the town. Bank lootings, kidnapping for ransom, some say are sources of funding for Oromo Liberation Army. Lastly, viewers, first opposition to the peace agreement signed between TPLF and Ethiopian federal government, opposition from an Amhara politician. Very expected though, not a surprise. His name is Desalegn Chane, a vocal critic of Ethiopian federal government, staunch supporter of Fano, member of parliament from Gajam, and Gajam is the power base of Fano, but Fano dismantled. Gajam-based Fano commander Zamina Kasi in prison, Masrisha on the run. He is definitely under pressure in his constituency, that people accuse government forces of committing atrocities, committing rights violations against the people in Gajam. And Desalegn Chane and other politicians, some Amhara politicians, they've been saying that Raya and Volkayet are integral parts of Amhara. Any agreement without Volkayet Raya being part of Amhara would not be accepted. That is what he said today. He said the agreement lacks clarity about Volkayet and Raya. Both are part of the Amhara region. The agreement does not mention the areas as part of the Amhara region. That is why Amhara people cannot accept such an agreement. The two zones must be part of the Amhara region. The peace agreement states that talks will be held between the parties about disputed areas. And talks will be held after disarmament, after establishment of an interim setup in Tigray, which will take, I think, more than a month. If all steps are completed smoothly, talks will start after a month, I think, about political issues like Raya and Volkayet. There is no clarity in this agreement about Raya and Volkayet. That is why Desalegn Chane and some other hardliners, I would say, in the Amhara region are raising questions about the peace agreement signed by the government and TPLF. Though Prosperity Party members, PP, Ethiopian Federal Cabinet, they have approved this peace agreement. Desalegn Chane is from NAMA, National Movement of Amharas, opposition party, which ran as opposition party in last general election. Later, it became part of the government. Now, Balate Mola party's leader is a minister. He is serving with the government, federal government. But Nama politicians like Desalegn Chane, Christian Tradale, they try to play the role of opposition politicians while their party is in power. Their party leader is a minister. So, Nama is enjoying the benefits of being part of the government, and it is trying to play the role of an opposition party too. There is no genuine, strong, robust opposition party functional in Ethiopia now. Thank you for watching.